Hello everyone, I am Crawlers and I thought I'd try to ease back into gaming commentaries if I could to see if I still attract viewers in that way and if people still watch these things. Now, recently I've been watching several YouTube videos on a survival game called Escape from Tarkov. Now, this is a game that's in the pre-alpha stage right now, and it's being developed by a Russian indie studio in St. Petersburg. If you may have even heard of the game by now. I think Level Cap's done a review on it too. And well, I think it's sort of realistic, and it's kind of like this updated graphics version of picture an out of wedlock baby born to an unholy alliance between DayZ and Metro 2033, or even better, Stalker and DayZ. And normally I don't play survival RPGs, but this one really caught my attention, and I started watching the developer diaries and the Russian videos they had, and on the development of the game and their weapons and all that stuff, and I really got into it, and I really think that what they're doing here is going to turn into something fun. And what's more, the realism and both graphical and physics based that's to come from this kind of, small indie studio, which is, I dare say, it's something we'd normally expect out of a, big AAA publisher, but coming out of a small studio in St. Petersburg is really, really awesome to see. And, kudos to those guys that actually did it. And this actually leads me to a little bit of a side rant, an idea I had in my head a couple of weeks, but never thought it'd make for a good standalone video. You see, the indie games versus AAA studio, big title names like Battlefield and COD and so forth. Basically, I think that when indie studios have something good to offer, it's going to be quite good and in depth, and provided it's high quality, it's going to be very niche. It's sort of something that fits only a certain type of players. And the point is that when indie studios really go both to the wall in one direction, game building wise, not the horrible boy band we don't like to pretend we don't listen to at night and have posters all over our walls wise. And what was I talking about? Oh yes, indie games. So what I'm saying is that indie studios, unlike huge AAA publishers, don't have to worry about their game not being able to appeal to everyone, a huge fan base. That's the problem with big titles today, like COD, which has it's been trying to please the widest, most stupid, and dare I say childish fan base for years now. Whereas you remember what Infinity Ward started with. COD 4 was a very specific, a very serious, very story-driven comment on society, even military operation type stuff, and you know it didn't have a happy ending. It was brutal, it was very in your face, it was serious. You could, relate to the characters, put yourself in their shoes. I actually remember the first time I played the COD 4 mission, Crew Expendable. By the end, jumping onto that chopper and Captain Price grabbing me, I was a little shaky from the excitement, because I had to I had to change my underwear, even because in that moment, I was so McTavish, and I could very much see myself running as quickly as I could from a sinking ship. And it really made the characters come alive, and you could picture yourself, in their shoes and doing this stuff, because it was really immersive and trying to convey the game nicely. Now, this appealed greatly to a smaller audience, but to appeal to a much larger, prepubescent audience, Activision, needed to appeal to their little minds, shall we say. And of course, we started seeing colorful amusement park levels, you know, 420 yellow blazed scopes and skins, and colorful as a unicorn having sonic rainbow diarrhea, standing on top of the world's tallest roller coaster. Well, and guess what? It sells like hotcakes because there will always be a 14-year-old audience out there, no matter what the decade or how old the tech engine is. And so, what I'm trying to say in this long-winded piece of rant is that unlike Activision or EA or these other big name publishers, these guys are working out of one office in St. Petersburg. They can really go deep in the single direction that they chose and expand on that single realism topic instead of trying to, please everyone with hundreds of features and colorful skins and end up pissing everyone off. So, what it boils down to is money, really. There's no big publisher to get their hands on them to squeeze the juices out of the developers because they're basically working for themselves right now. You know, they don't have to answer to this huge publisher because they're not pushing the developers' buttons and, frankly, pushing their deadlines beyond ridiculous because, we all know by now that most AAA games release way before they're finished, making for a year of glitchy play and several patches before the game even becomes playable. So, it's the new norm for a AAA title now. And these guys they will answer to no one and work on their game till it's, finished and bug free. And now I guess I get back to the game itself because I realize I should have, split this video into two videos because that was way too heavy for one video. So that's it, I guess. Thanks for watching, and like and share this video as it makes my channel grow. Nah, I'm just kidding. Let's take a look at the game itself, Escape from Tarkov. So, the game is a survival type thing set in the Russian city of Tarkov, and as far as I know, this is a fictional place. Basically, it's a site of an armed conflict that arose when armed factions of big name corporations started basically duking it out on the streets of Norvinsk, and UN peacekeepers were called in, and it basically became a clusterfuck. Internal affairs troops were involved, and the borders were sealed. And as such, you will find yourself in a story-driven campaign inside the sealed zone, obviously, trying to escape from Tarkov, hence the name, while scavenging for supplies and dealing with heavily armed paramilitary forces. Now, I gotta say, the environment you find yourself in looks quite amazing. The decaying buildings, particles, many items, grass, shadows, different times of day, all these sun rays and all things, glows and things like that. But what really makes this game, I think, is the attention to detail. Realistic weapons, ballistics, interactive environment, even physical character attributes like fatigue, hydration, blood pressure, intoxication, like, drinking, I'd assume something like drinking alcohol in Fallout 4 or Fallout 3, exhaustion, the type of weight that you're carrying, all the gear, all play a part in how your weapon and movements handle, and how you can control that weapon, let's say recoil and things like that, and aiming down sight. And I mean, your weapon becomes harder to control if you're carrying way too much stuff, are wounded, or super tired. And where you get hit also matters. It's realistically modeled, but what really got me, unsurprisingly, is the attention to weapons detail. This is where the guys at Battle State really went all out. They really got up close to the real weapons, photographed them from, all sides, held them and shot them and modeled them in 3D. And quite well piece by piece. So, like the receivers, the handles, the actual sites, the bot stocks, all that stuff, the magazines, that those separate things that you can take apart visually and reattach and customize and all that. And they were even invited to these guys at Labayev Arms to sample and shoot their sniper rifles, which is really cool to see. It's kind of interesting to see what this small studio is actually able to come up with, uh, in these newer weapons. One more sniper rifle I'm hoping to see in the game is the Orsis T5000, but it's already got some pretty cool weapons in it, so I'm interested in that too. Now, the weapons modeling doesn't end there, unsurprisingly, no. They also designed a buttload of attachment, as I just said. The most, for most of these weapons, like the Kalashnikov or the M4, and so on. All of these, all of which, will affect how the gun actually handles in combat, like its ballistics, its recoil, weight, and so on. And you got magazines, sights, scopes, buttstocks, silencers, grips, um, different attachments on the front of the gun, like lasers and flashlights, and dual sights like red scopes and ACOGs, and many more things. And all these things are visually interesting, and the customization isn't unlike Medal of Honor Low Fighter, but as far as the game goes, it also makes a difference on how each component handles, and obviously influences the gun's ballistics properties, and also takes into account your character's physical characteristics, which might not sound like much, but the enemies here aren't bullet sponges like in the Division. One shot is all it takes to ruin your day. So this is some serious survival shit. I mean, beautiful environments, different times of day, night vision goggles, realistic motion captured movement from actual military guys, different gear and vests, and customizable vests that affect the characters in different ways, like carrying stuff and weight and movement and speed and fatigue, and it also depends on your health and if you're wounded or anything like that. And multiplayer driven story co-op, and I'm guessing versus player 2, economy based on quote real world events, which just means that you can sell stuff to NPCs, I guess, but you will also be able to stash your gear in places like car trunks and lockers, because if you die in a raid, that's it, man. You just lose whatever you had on you. Obviously, weapon and character condition is a factor. Weapons break and jam and have, feed issues, though I'm sure the AK doesn't. Gear gets deteriorated and broken, wear and tear, so it's stacking to be a really cool game, and I'm really hoping to play it when it comes on release, maybe get into the beta of some sort and show it to you guys. If you're not planning to purchase, maybe make a decision. And kudos to these Russian guys for coming out with something cool. um, my only hope is that they include support for Trek IR and some kind of VR things, maybe for people that really want to get their head in the game. So thanks for watching. Please rate and share this video as it helps my channel grow. Check out my other videos at the end of this one, and remember, in Soviet Russia, YouTube subscribes you.